Why are we talking about KTM today, Dave? I don't feel very orangey. But we're doing two stories. Oh, that's good. That's great. Well done. See? Those pills are working. Welcome back to Long Way Home, everyone. The place where getting your motorcycle news is easier than knowing if Dave actually exists, but not by much. First up, thanks to those sneaky dealers which can stop themselves from leaking photos, we get another look at KTM's smallest adventure bike, the 250 Adventure. Stick around while we see what's new. 250, Dave. 250. Next year KTM will release a bike with no engine and just call it the KTM Adventure. The Austrian's smallest adventure bike yet, the 250 Adventure, is said to make an appearance in the next couple of days actually, this time for the Indian market. KTM is already prepping their dealers about the tiny adventure bike, and by the looks of it, it's like the 250 Duke made love to the 390 Adventure. Spotted a couple of months ago on Indian roads, the 250 seems to be ready for showtime now. The Adventure is powered by the same engine as the 250 Duke, a single cylinder which manages to put out 30 horsepower and 24 Newton meters of torque. It's got a 6-speed gearbox which will probably have different ratios than the Duke in order to make all 30 of those horses more adventure-ish. While the business end comes from the Duke, the design language is definitely from KTM's Adventure series. Even if this is meant to be an entry-level bike, suspension is handled by none other than WP, not some no-name fork manufacturer, but unfortunately it is not adjustable in any way. Brakes have also not been skimped out on, 4-piston 320mm disc on the front paired together with a Bosch cornering ABS system. Not bad for a tiny adventure bike. And the gifts from KTM don't stop here. If on their Duke 250 they decided to use a simple LED instrument panel, the Adventure version gets a full-color TFT display with Bluetooth connectivity. This goes head-to-head with the Royal Enfield Himalayan and BMW's G310 GS. It's meant as a cheaper alternative for those that want to get into the KTM ecosystem. The one with lots of oil spills, Dave. Oh yeah, I went there. But find the 390 Adventure too expensive or too big for their needs. In the end, sales figures will decide if this is a success for KTM or not, but what I'm interested in is if this makes it to Europe or to the Americas, would it be something you would be interested in? A tiny 250cc adventure bike with Bluetooth connectivity, let's be honest, by KTM. Let us know in the comments below. Next up, moving on to the Italians, Ducati came up with a new engine and they are very happy about it.
Pronti per un cambio di paradigma. Siamo pronti per spiegarvi e per introdurvi il motore V4 Granturismo.
The engine in the new V4 Multistrada, said to be unveiled quite soon, is becoming quite a benchmark, priding itself with 60,000 kilometer gaps in between valve clearances, 37,000 miles. This is unheard of in the motorcycling world so far. The GS behind me only has 20,000 kilometers service intervals for valve clearance. That's 3 times more frequent, and it's no secret the Italians are over the moon with their achievement. But how did they manage this, you ask? Well, say goodbye to the Desmo valve setup, which Ducati has been using forever now, which employed cam-operated rocker arms rather than springs to open and close valves, and say hello to their new Granturismo engine. While the Desmosedici engine was great for peak power output, it increased wear and tear, needed regular adjustments, and peak power is just really not one of those things Ducati prioritized for a Multistrada. Reliability and long service intervals seem more important on a touring adventure bike than pure peak power at high RPMs. The new V4 Granturismo is almost 1,160 cc's and produces a massive 170 horsepower at 10,500 RPMs. Compared to the current 2-cylinder Multistrada, the new engine is shorter, lower and lighter while producing more power, and was specifically tuned to meet the Multistrada's touring requirements without sacrificing on performance. The new V4 Multistrada is set to launch on November the 5th, and apart from the new engine, the Italians are set to also fit it with their new radar cruise control, just like BMW did with their new RT. Catch that video if you haven't yet. Commenty comments time. If you're in Europe or the Americas, would a 250cc adventure bike from KTM tickle your fancy, and what do you hope to see added or taken away on the new Multistrada? Let us know in the comments below. Well, that's the show for today, everyone. If you've enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up, and if you think you've learned something new, consider subscribing or becoming one of our patrons to help us make more of these shows. Cheers, and I'll see you on the next one.